When St. Mary's was about to undergo some major renovations a few years ago, it took a closer look at all of its facilities.
It was decided that if an investment were to be made in two historic music items, the experience of attending Mass and the overall quality of life for parishioners would be enhanced for years to come.
The results of that investment can be seen and heard today. Steve Kiltonic now has our final story.
In the 1945 classic, The Bells of St. Mary's, Father O'Malley, played by Bing Crosby, sings the praises of the school bell.
Oh, bells of St. Mary's, we always will love you.
Likewise, the bell that once rang from the Tower of St. Mary's in Westfield also served as inspiration for the children who attended St. Mary's School. But the original bell here had gone silent years ago. Altar servers in their 80s recall ringing the bell, but at some point the rope and pulleys became detached. Rather than repair it, an electronic carillon was installed during the 1980s. The bell was forgotten until Father Brian McGrath conducted an overview of the parish facility prior to major renovations several years ago.
We came across the bell. And so even then I started to say, what a great piece of equipment, and what can we do with it?
It was discovered that the bronze bell was a gift to the church from the Connor family of Southwick in 1926, when Father George Fitzgerald was pastor. It was manufactured by the Manili Bell Company of Troy, New York, which made bells for churches around the world. The 1926 Seth Thomas clock, located in the tower just behind these windows, was set to ring the bell only for the Angelus prayer at 6 a.m., noon, and 6 p.m., thus the name Angelus Bell. If possible, Father McGrath wanted to remove the Angelus Bell from the tower so the congregation could appreciate it more fully.
It was an unknown. We didn't know if we could even do it. The actual day of it or the day before, you were wondering what could happen.
The Angelus Bell had not been seen in over 80 years. And it's been a number of decades since it was actually heard ringing in this neighborhood. But getting the bell and its cradle down from the bell tower to the street below was no simple task.
The last thing in the world I wanted to is have a bell coming 70 feet down like a wrecking ball into the sidewalk. You know, we really thought about it quite extensively.
Liptak's company, Truck Crane Service, took on the task of removing the 2,060-pound bell. It was November 2008. The high school and grammar schools were closed for an in-service day. A street permit was obtained, police were called in, and Bartlett Street was closed. Then a 100-foot crane was rolled into place. An open 8-by-8-foot skiff was hoisted up to the tower with 5 men, each one tied off. The bell screen was then removed.
We built a bridge right to the skiff, and we rolled the bell really out of that opening into the skiff.
Once secure, the bell was lowered.
Kind of neat to see 5 guys rolling a 1-ton bell down Bartlett Street.
The entire process took 7 hours. In the early summer of 2009, the clock mechanism was disassembled and brought down through the church with block and tackle. The bell and clock were stored in a church garage until the bell, cradle, and clappers could be cleaned, painted, and refurbished, and the clock reassembled.
Rather than risk it being damaged or disturbances or graffiti or all that stuff, we thought we'd put it in a nice structure.
Last summer, the foundation for the bell house was poured at a site next to the rectory in St. Mary's Grotto. In October, the bell and cradle was moved to its new permanent home. Construction later began on the frame of the building.
Each step along the way, I just put the word out, and people would say, well, I can donate and help out with the cost of windows or the cost of bricks, and others step up in terms of the actual physical labor of constructing it. It's been truly an amazing project that way.
For his Eagle project, Reed Micah and his Boy Scout Troop 109 painted the interior of the house. On January 24th, the troop hosted a reception along with a blessing and dedication of the bell.
Give it a good whack.
After the ceremony, parishioners were given a chance to ring the bell and hear it for the first time.
Oh, I was so gentle.
The building is not quite finished. The rest of the brick veneer has to be attached, and the Seth Thomas clock has to be electronically hooked up to ring the Angelus hours. Spring is the target date. Once complete, parishioners arriving at church will hear the bell and be able to manually ring it at special occasions.
The great thing about bells is they've always been a real clarion call to worship, a ringing out of our faith, of our hope. So to see it, to hear it, I hope is inspirational.
Another parish treasure, the Casavan organ, was installed recently as part of the church renovations. An SD pipe organ had been in use since 1942, but it became physically and operationally unreliable.
As we were thinking about what it would take to fix it, to re-leather it, to tune it, the people we had talked to, Saluzniak organ builders, said, we know of an organ that could be perfect for your church.
An 1897 Casavant tracker pipe organ, Opus 78, had served Notre Dame Parish in Pittsfield faithfully for over 113 years. The parish closed in 2004, and the Casavant was in need of a new home.
This is a more powerful organ by its design and voicing, and the stop list or specification is far more varied.
The Casavant console and pipes were kept in storage for 2 years. In early 2008, Saluzniak started to restore the pipes in his Northampton shop. It took 4 months to install the Casavant. The chimes were new, a donation from St. Anthony's in Agawam. By the summer of 2008, it was fully operational.
You hear this organ, it seems to come from the very walls of the church, and it fills the space.
It wasn't just an investment for the parish, it was an investment for the community. The idea behind it was to include more organ recitals, more cultural activities here at the church in terms of music.
Built in 1897, the actual age of the organ is very significant.
All the Casavants imported before that have been lost or destroyed or altered beyond recognition. We are able to determine that this is the oldest playable Casavant surviving in the United States.
The gift that Notre Dame has given to us with this organ, well, it's going to bless generations to come.
The 1926 Angelus bell and the 1897 Casavant organ. Both historic treasures parishioners at St. Mary's should all be proud of. For Real to Real, I'm Steve Kiltonic.
And that, Sharon, is music to the ears of parishioners here at St. Mary's.
Nice to hear.